Happy Saturday, everybody. Another day of door knocking down. It is about 3 o'clock, so I'm calling it a day. I just wanted to kind of chat with you guys a little bit. I've been thinking about what is a better investment. Is it single family properties or multifamily properties? Which one's better? So because I was on the phone with somebody today that I met at the Northwest Action Summit, and they have 2 single family properties and they're currently flipping one right now. And they just wanted to chat with me a little bit about like, hey, Brandon, why do you have 2 fourplexes? Why not just a couple single families? And I'll spoil it and say they want to get into multifamily, so they're trying to pick my brain, which is great. I love that. I love talking to people about multifamily. But I want to be fair. I think all real estate, given enough time, bought in the right location for the right price, is a good investment. Single family included, commercial, storage unit, industrial, multifamily, retail space, even though it's getting hammered right now, or it will be soon, once all their loans come due. But it is a beautiful, 90 degrees out here. I got the AC on, so if you hear some whistling or something, that's probably AC because it is hot outside. But here's the deal, you guys. All real estate is good real estate given enough time, in my humble opinion, even though I'm not a multimillionaire. I'm working on it. But here's the deal. I'm in the trenches. I am door knocking single families, right? Because it wouldn't really make sense to door knock multifamilies, right? How often does the owner live at their 20 unit building? Almost never. So it wouldn't make much sense to do that. So I'm door knocking single families because I think those are great flips. I think if you find a below market value single family that needs some TLC, I think the buyer pool for that and the turnaround time for that is there's a lot more buyers for single family than there is multifamily, right? Because once you get to a 20 unit building, there's a lot of people like me who want them if you're an investor, but there's also a lot of people that can't afford them, like me. Single family, it's a lot, the barrier to entry is a lot low. You don't have to put $1 million down to get into a house. And with a house, there's just, people live in them. That is what they're made for. But the type of properties we're looking for are the ones that are distressed, that need lots of work, that nobody would really want to live in, because we feel like that's where you can get the biggest difference in what it's worth and what somebody's willing to take for it. So I think single family properties are great for flipping. I think they're great for living. I think right now in the current inflated price, and when I say inflated price, I don't mean they're going to come down. Unfortunately, I don't think prices are coming down, but they are still inflated based off of what people could actually afford. Based in that environment of very high prices, which I hate to say it, will probably continue to stay the same or go higher. I don't think they're coming down. In that environment, in tandem, together with the current interest rate environment, I do not think that single family rental properties make sense, at least where I'm at, right? In Portland, Oregon, we are a hyperinflated appreciation type of market. And the houses have appreciated. They have. And now they are so appreciated in value that it doesn't make sense to buy any of them as rental properties unless you're getting a steep discount. Now, am I speaking for Kansas City, Kansas? Am I speaking for Gary, Indiana? Am I speaking for all of the smaller little communities in the Midwest? No. Do I think you can still buy and cash flow, in fact, even hit the 1% rule on rental properties in small tertiary markets in the Midwest? Absolutely. But if you're on the coastal area, right? If you're on the West Coast, the East Coast, even some places in Florida, it doesn't doesn't make sense. Single family, right? It doesn't. It's your cash flow. You will be cash flow negative every month if you're with these interest rates. Yes. Can you buy the property, be cash flow negative a little bit, and wait for interest rates to come down? Absolutely. Do we know when they'll come down? No. Did people think they were going to start coming down around now? Yes. Have they come down? No. Will they come down eventually? Yes. How much? We don't know, right? So if you're buying a property and the interest rate is 7%, 8%, and you think, you're buying a property and you think the interest rates will come down to 5%, and you think you'll be able to refi, and that's your only strategy to get that thing profitable, I think that's a really bad idea. I don't think you should do that. So, based off of what I'm seeing in my local market, based off of the interest rates, based off of cap rates, based off of rents, based off of home affordability, I think multifamily is really the only asset, other than maybe commercial or industrial, but I don't know anything about that. That in fact, I was talking to somebody about their six unit building today. I'm gonna try to buy it from them, so I might be walking that here in a week or so. Their 6 unit building. He has a commercial space as well. He used to be a manufacturer. He used to create the molds that I don't really know exactly what he made. I can't remember, but whatever he made, he used to make the molds, the plastic molds, and the actual thing itself. And he told me he was killing it back in the 90s, and now here it is, 2024. He said he's 99% out of business, which means they shipped all the manufacturing over, outside of the country. And is he, the rule or the exception? I don't know, right? I don't know manufacturing like that, but that's kind of in line with everything that I've heard, that, United States is not a manufacturing place anymore. So, would I, pick that as my real estate bet? Maybe not. Unless you had some insider information and knew some stuff that, regular people like me didn't know. But when it comes down to it, you guys, I still like multifamily. I still like the idea of, if one person leaves, or you God forbid, have to evict somebody for non-payment or whatever, that you won't be 100% vacant, right? My 4 unit buildings, it is highly unlikely that I will ever be 100% vacant with my 4 unit building. And then if you turn it into let's say you have a 6 unit building, or a 13 unit building, or a 35 unit building, the odds of that happening just get less and less and less. So I think that's a win. Unless your building burns down or floods or falls over or something, right? Like, the likelihood of you being 100% vacant and 100% responsible for that debt payment is really low. Office space. Do people need to go to the office? Not as much as they needed to, 4 years ago. So office space is getting really beat up. Commercial buildings, are those needed as much as someone needs an apartment to rent? No. When it comes to Airbnbs, when it comes down to it, people need a home. They need a home, right? They don't need office space. They don't need a vacation space. They don't need commercial buildings. They don't need manufacturing, right? Do all of those things make money? Yes. Do I think, in my infinite wisdom, that people will abandon all of those things first before they abandon the roof over their own head? Yes. So I think the likelihood of you making money over time in multifamily is significantly better than any other form of asset currently with these interest rates in my local market. Do I think that homes are still necessary? Absolutely. Do Do I think they're harder to afford than ever before? Absolutely. Do I have a home that I think makes sense for me to live in? No. I have a house that is a rental, and I make more money off of it than I think would make sense. For me to just ask everybody to leave and then live in myself. Hopefully someday I'll be able to buy a house, right? I know everybody feels that way. But I think houses are a great asset, right? Especially for people who aren't investors. Like if you are just a regular, family, and whatever that means nowadays, if you're just a regular family or group of people living in a house, and you have no interest in investing in real estate, I think a single family home is a fantastic forced savings account. You are forced to build equity in something that will appreciate given enough time, as long as you keep it up and in good condition. So that is always a great starting point for people. But at some point, if you really want to get into investing and you don't think you're smart enough to build a business and make it successful like me, maybe over time that might change. Hopefully I can create a business and make a lot of money. That'd be great. If you don't think you're a stock picking wizard and you don't think that you can consistently over time outperform the market, higher than 10, 15, 20% consistently all the time, then real estate might be a good investing avenue for you. And, with a multifamily, yes. Are you going to have to be a landlord? Yes. Or are you going to have to hire a property management company and still have to manage the manager? Yes. Will they do a great job all the time? No. Right? So, can they do better than you if you don't know what you're doing and have zero interest in being a property manager and don't want to deal with tenants? Yeah. Especially in a landlord-friendly place like Oregon, California, or Washington, right? Maybe Texas and Florida are a little bit different, but where I'm at, tenants have a lot of rights, which is okay. It makes for less competition, right? Less of you people. Like if somebody's watching this in Texas right now, I guarantee the last place they want to go invest is in Oregon, right? So less competition, which means higher prices, right? So just things to think about. I just wanted to kind of chat with you guys a little bit. After having that conversation with the guy this morning after the Action Summit, I thought it made sense. I don't know if I've made this video before, but I'm going to keep making it until something changes. For me, for a real estate investor, I think multifamily makes the most sense right now with the current environment that we're in. And then, of course, over time that'll change. And for people who can't get into 20 units, start with the duplex, start with a fourplex. Just do something. It's better to be, It's better to have time in the market than timing the market. And that absolutely is 100% true for the stock market and is also 100% true for the real estate market. All right, you guys, until next time, peace.